Sensei Victoria Whitfield here, and this is your weekly love letter from the dojo at naturalintuition.com, your source for channeled holistic stress management techniques and guidance for developing your natural intuition. So whether you are looking to cultivate your intuition for improving your personal or professional health, let this love letter be your reminder that you are not alone and that together we can make that happen. This is week 4 of 5, right? Our deep dive into the empath's dance between self-care and self-sabotage. We all do it, right? We find our ways to self-soothe because there's so much energy that we have to process just getting by on a day-to-day basis. So be kind to yourself. If this is you, I want you to know that Source and I are supporting you in your process of opening up to honoring your sensitivity as actually your superpower, right? Your sensitivity is your strength. It's not your weakness. Believe it or not, let me let the cat out of the bag, so I'll come in to tell you the secret. You've been born sensitive because you were built to be aware. Aware not just so that you could suffer, but actually so that you could change things. You're here to help and heal others, but you're sensitized to what has got to change, right? That's why you're so sensitive. You're awake, right? Not only are you sensitive to heal others, right? To step into being a healer, but also you're called to leadership. Believe it or not. Yes, really. Leaders, when they are healing leaders, change the world because they can see things other people can't. And then you are able to support our community in moving forward as a whole. So please, take this moment, if only just for now, to honor your sensitivity as being cultivated on your path towards healing leadership. Yay! But you gotta make it there. There's a healing journey, right, that we're all on, right, that comes first. So be kind to yourself if that healing journey has been a lot of healing, right? It can get really annoying. Yes, and this is actually your resistance training to prepare you for what you've been called to help and heal in particular. Send me an email back, by the way, if that was for you, if you really needed to hear that. I'm curious to hear your story. Mwah. This week 4, we are going to be talking about self-sabotage with alcohol and chemicals. Darn. It's so helpful. It's so helpful. Not just the alcohol, but like oh man, smoking. I remember it was great. It was so effective, right? It's just the emotional drain. I used to smoke cigarettes, and yes, I have tried other chemicals such as marijuana. And for me, I'm already sensitive, so that was easy for me to say, no, thank you, right? Because I'm already energetically sensitive, and then you put that on top, and blah, it's too much for me personally, right? But there's these chemicals that we do. For me, I remember the former video I told you rum was my alcohol of choice. I also forgot plum wine and honey wine. I really used to love those because they were sweet. But what's your alcohol of choice, right? What are your chemicals that you use to pleasure yourself, right? This is grounding through pleasure, is alcohol and chemicals. Now, with each week, we share what Source has said is the feeling or the soul craving behind that, right? What causes us to reach for alcohol, to reach for the cigarettes, to reach for the weed, the Advil. I remember when I used to be a medical billing and coding manager, yes, I was. Believe it or not, one of my former lives. there was like the office manager and the head nurse in our office every day. They'd have this jar of Advil this big, and they're like, we're Advil girls, you know, and they would pop their Advil because they would always have headaches. It's such a stressful environment, but that was how they soothed, right, and took care of themselves, creating an Advil dependency. Be kind to yourself if this is you, right? We create these habits around ourselves for dealing with our environment. So the soul craving behind that, right, the feeling that's driving us is this is too much, right? The energy is too much emotionally, physically, assumptions and requirements. It's too much on us, or feeling overwhelmed, compressed, and squished for time, for space, for mental space, for focus. We're being taxed out, or even worse, we feel like we're being controlled. It's not just compressed, but controlled, right? There's a lack of freedom, this feeling of imprisonment, is what causes us to reach for, just let me have a break, let me just have a drink, right? Or I need to, let me cool off, let me go have a smoke, let me get this crazy energy off me, right? To feel free for a moment. What we're craving, our soul is desiring, is the freedom to be and feel free, feel space around ourselves as well as within ourselves. Be kind to yourself if this is what's coming up around you. I feel you. I remember every time I would smoke, it would work. The toilet flush of emotion. Emotional space. Right? Or maybe you're a student and your parents don't understand and society doesn't understand what you're going through, and all your friends are expecting so much from you. You can't keep up with everyone. Somebody just get me high, right? So I don't have to worry about that anymore, so that I can feel just as free as everyone else is free. This is what we're craving, right? With these chemical highs that we're dependent upon. Now, be kind to yourself if this is you, if you do have a chemical dependency. Again, none of these videos are meant to make you beat yourself up. This is just to raise awareness of where you might be self-sabotaging. Especially when it comes to chemical dependencies, we create habits, habit cycles. So this is the knowledge of the week that's coming from Source around self-sabotage with alcohol and chemical dependencies. Is that we create a habit so that, we always have a nightcap before bed, right? There's an association and a habit of action to back up that association of when I go to bed, I gotta have my nightcap, right? Or when I go out, like to socialize with friends and we're drinking, I smoke. Or when I'm driving, I smoke. I remember I used to have an association between driving and smoking. It was just all the time, right? So there's these associations that we develop, or, I'm starting to feel something in my body. Let me pop that pill because, if I don't do it, it's going to get worse. And, that whole habit cycle, our thought cycle that's behind that association of discomfort in the body, which triggers a thought process of, oh no, give me a pill, right? Or the association in popular culture of weed with luxury and pleasure and feeling all right and everything's positive, right? Be kind to yourself if this has come up for you. Now, there are some of us who are born with natural chemical imbalances, and that some of these drugs have been formulated to help us on our path to learning about our bodies in a safe way. Then there are those of us who are afraid of feeling. The fear of feeling is very, very real, especially in our society when you are expected to output more than ever, to be productive, to have your stuff together, to look good. You know, you got to put all those filters up. Hey, last week was technology. But putting your Snapchat filter, putting your everything filter on so that things look a certain way. Be kind to yourself. You are not perfect. I am not perfect. We are not perfect. That plant is not perfect. But she's growing. I'm growing. You're growing. Right? We're all living. So be kind to yourself that you're escaping and running away from, right? Or checking out from feeling your humanness. So this week in particular, the solution the guides have presented is actually getting support around what you're running from. Why are you drinking, right? Why are you smoking? There's usually, remember, that association. There's a trigger. There is an associative feeling or event or place, right? Or maybe even memory that's triggering your habit of drinking, smoking, popping the pills. Groups and support, even if you're not ready to be in a group, but getting help and support around this, if it's in an individual or a group setting. But when you come together, when two people come together at least, there's safety. It helps you to feel more safe as you're feeling the thing that you want to run away from. A second set of eyes, by the way, helps you to see more around the situation and open up to healing. The oracle cards for this week are calling. It's the Archangel Oracle Cards deck, another Doreen Virtue deck. So, angels, what do we need to know right now about receiving support with our self-sabotage around alcohol and different chemical dependencies? Wow, okay. Career transition. Archangel Chamuel, your life purpose, Archangel Chamuel says, your life purpose is triggering a blessed career change. This is where we're going to leave off this week. Part of your path to stepping into healing leadership, I'm getting the chills as I say this. Part of your path is releasing your chemical addiction by receiving support. One of the most formative things that changed my whole life was when I started studying privately with spiritual mentors, people who did energy work, right? I started working on myself, and that helped me to step boldly, more than ever, onto my path as a healer and now as a leader, right? A leader of other healers. So this is going to shift for you. This is your turning point. This week in particular, look, how are you, right? Chemically dependent, alcohol, smoking, pills, right? Whatever. And how can you receive support? Last question. What would shift if you felt the courage to release that dependency? Would your life look different? Would you want to help others do the same? Right. Send me a comment back or an email. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube so that you get these love letters every week. But I want to hear your story, right? What's coming up for you around this week in particular? I'm really excited for you to be able to release, right, that chemical dependency. I'm right there with you. Please reach out to me. I'd be happy to talk to you, right? Share my stories of it too. I'm sending you so much love. And I'll see you next week for week 5. Mwah!